girls, it's Strawberry. I'm back with another Dinkum speed build creative mode. And today I'm doing something a little different. I'm not doing anybody's business or home or anything like that. Instead, I am doing a farmer's market. And so when I originally laid this out, I was actually intending to do more of a cafe style or restaurant style. But as I was using the booths, as I was like putting them down, I was like, these look more farmer's market-y. So instead, I decided to go for a farmer's market. And I like the way it turned out. This was, I think, one of my first non-building related builds, if that makes sense. Like I didn't attach it to a someone's business, and it wasn't like a town square or anything like that. Besides the campsite. The campsite, well, no, the campsite was still related to the tent, so I guess that is technically a building related building. After this, I go on to do a library, and I want to do after that a cafe. The library was my first fake build, like fake building build, which I didn't record that, but when I eventually finally do my entire island tour, you'll see it. I think it came out pretty well for my first ever fake building. But I do like the farmer's market a lot. I think every good town has a farmer's market. I mean, even my home, where I came from in the US, has a farmer's market. It's actually a pretty decently sized farmer's market. And a lot of people who came to the farmer's market said that it was better than the ones in the bigger cities. So that's pretty cool. I live in a very touristic town, so we have ferias, which is kind of like a farmer's market, but it's more so catered towards tourism than like fruits and vegetables and stuff. I'm not saying you can't find that, but a lot of the stuff sold there is stuff specific to our region, like a lot of wood products, and there are a lot of handicrafts, but it's just not so much vegetables and jams and things like that that you would associate with a regular farmer's market. But I did work at one. I worked at one for an entire year straight, actually. And then when I visited my family last summer, I worked at the farmer's market with them there, and I sold my crochet stuff. And so I've had a lot of experience with both types of farmers markets, the traditional farmers market and the tourism farmers market. So I think that experience really shaped how I wanted this farmers market to look, especially when it comes to what I put in the stalls. That really kind of influenced it. So as you'll see as I go on here, I have these cotton candy machines. So I made like a sweets stall, and there's the ice creamer. So this is kind of where you get your sweets and things like that. And then I made a weapons area. I originally was gonna have like a clothing area because there's that little loom, but I do scrap that later for something else. And you know me, I gotta put my flower boxes everywhere. Gotta have those nature elements. And then here I made a little sit-down area. I personally have not been to a farmer's market that has one of these, but I thought it'd be nice. You know, you get your food, you get your snacks, you have somewhere to sit down. This is more so like this area is more so like what do we call, like a party area, you know? Like when you go to a party or a concert or something, that's kind of these vibes. But I thought it was nice. Maybe this is like a fancier farmer's market, you know? And then this area is going to be the restaurant area, you know, where you, your street food, you know, you get your food and then you sit down on those plastic tables with the plastic chairs. I know these chairs aren't plastic right now, but I do change them later. These are more like cafe chairs, you know? But yeah, you sit down with your plastic chairs and your food on a stick. So yeah, that's the restaurant area. So you got the meat sticks. Here in Chile, we call them anticucho. Oh, they've got like chicken and pork and beef, like little steak pieces on them. Sometimes some peppers, some onion, and then they put a little piece of bread on the top. because Chileans can't live without bread. And then that one you just saw with the jars, that was my honey area, my honey stand. There is a lady here in my town that sells honey, and she has an entire bee, like she has this big thing of honeycomb, and then all the local bees just are like attracted to it, so you could just chill with the bees. And then I had a jam area because I feel like all good farmers markets have people who sell jam, and it's the best jam you've ever had in your life. And then there on the left where the lava lamp is, I made it like a toy. I almost said puesto. I made it like a toy stall. So you get the gacha machine, you get the plushes, and here I put on this table another plush and that little toy thing that you can get. I really wanted to put the rock on there, but I couldn't fit it on there, so this is what we went with. When I worked in the farmer's market, I guess technically I had a toy puesto because I sold crochet stuff. My most popular item being my crochet bees. But I sold a bunch of like keychains and things like that. There's the plastic chairs. I was trying to decide if I still wanted these cafe chairs. I think they fit better. And then here I use this little wheel because there's this lady at one of the nearby ferias that we have here, and she has a spinning wheel and like a bunch of plushies on the wall, and then depending on what you spin on the wheel, it shows what kind of plushie you get. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is the cafe stand. So we got the kettle and we got the coffee bean bags and things like that. There's a lot of places like that here where you can get coffee, especially in the winter. People offer like hot chocolate and sweets and donuts and things like that. Donuts here in Chile are so different from the donuts in the US. And honestly, I think they're more superior, but that doesn't mean I don't like donuts in the US. I grew up with them. It's got a chokehold on me. The Boston cream, best donut ever. And then over there, see, I put some weapons on the weapons rack and some jewels. So this is kind of like the miner area. The person who mines and makes weapons and things like that. And then I put the beehive next to the honey stand just so people would know, hey, she's got her bees with her. This honey is fresh, you know. She cultivated this honey herself. So those are kind of the market stands I got going on here. And I really like it. I really like the variety. It's also kind of like if you went to a food festival. I feel like this is very similar. You know, besides, I guess, the toys, technically, and the weapons. Those are really the only ones that don't match up. But now I'm basically going to spend the rest of the video decorating. The farmer's market itself is pretty complete, I think. I don't make any other major changes to it. So a lot of it is about to be landscaping. I cut a majority of it out, but all of this dirt I do change to grass. So I dig up all the other dirt and I put a bunch of grass down. It took a very long time, but I cut it out completely for you because I was like, y'all don't need to see all this. Like, you'll see it in the end result and you'll know, hey, she put a bunch of grass down. I also put trees down, which I cut out as well because I did that while I was doing the grass. And I did also put mushroom lamps everywhere, which I do think I showed. Because if you don't know, I really want my town to be kind of have a natural feel to it, but also like a fairy garden vibe. So a lot of my builds, even when you think they wouldn't typically include mushrooms and things like that, I do include mushrooms because I'm trying to tie everything together. I don't want there to be too big of a difference between everything. Oh, well, here's me, I guess, giving you a preview of what I did because I know I cut the majority of this out. There we go. Now you see. But I think the only build that I did that doesn't have a lot of fairy garden vibes is Franklin's place. Just simply because I feel like his would be so overrun with modern technology that he would probably have cut all the mushrooms down. And you know, in Franklin's, I didn't... Franklin? God, no. In Melvin's, who is directly across from this farmer's market, I didn't put a lot of mushrooms and stuff around his house, although I may later, I'm not sure. But I did make that little fairy garden right next to his house, so I think that ties it in. If you look on the left, there's that little mound of dirt. I actually end up putting, like, I raise it, and I end up putting one of the guest houses there. And I don't make it into an actual guest house, I actually make it into a cafe. Which I know I said earlier I wanted to do a cafe, but I did not remember until this moment that I already did one. I thought that I just made it a guest house. No, it's actually a cafe. And yeah, so that's one of the guest houses because I thought it would be cool to have a guest house like near the farmer's market, you know. But I do make it into a little cafe. I think it turned out pretty well. Did I record it? No. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't record everything. Like, I genuinely can't. It would take way too much energy. And this game is just so fun to build when you're just vibing. You know, you're just vibing, you're having a good time. So I can't record everything for you because I feel like that would take the relaxingness and the fun out of the game for me if I was so focused on recording every single time. And sometimes I don't have shit to say. Sometimes I just don't have shit to say. I made a cafe. I made a library because I wanted to. The end. You know, with the farmer's market, I have a little bit more explanation on how this build was influenced, you know, with my own personal experience with farmers markets, and I have dedicated a lot of hours of my life to farmers markets, so that's why I really wanted to explain, and I thought it was cute. I did want to share that with you. But when I do the full, what's it called? The full tour of my island, you'll definitely see all the things that I made. And so here's the final look around of my farmers market. I think it came out really great. I appreciate the attention to detail, although I will admit there were some things I still forgot to do. But I know between now, when I recorded these videos, and when I finally do my tour, I know some things will change because I'll have grown as a creator by that point, and I will want to add more details or switch some things up that I think would look better. So I know things will change over time from now until the final product. But as of right now, I'm really happy with it. I actually love that it's snowing. Because I know farmers markets are normally in the summer, except here we have farmers markets, our ferias, all year round. But I love the kind of mystical vibe it gives everything, you know. I love snow on pine trees. Oh, I love that. That's 10 out of 10. But yeah, this is how it ended up. I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite proud of it. And let me know what you are doing in your Dinkum file with creative mode, and what do you like about creative mode? What do you think could be improved upon in creative mode? I'm really interested to hear, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.